The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff or management of Visionary Related Entertainment.
It's time to enter the world of real estate with Hawaii's only true real estate show, the Team Lally Real Estate Show. Grab a pen and get ready to take notes. Hawaii's premier real estate leaders, Adrienne Lally and Attilio Leonardi, will bring you the latest in real estate news and real-world strategies on how they can guarantee to sell your home at a price and deadline you agree to, or they'll buy it. Now, here are your hosts, Adrienne and Attilio.
Welcome to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or We'll Buy It. If you have any real estate questions, you can reach us at 633-8633. That's 633-8633, or at teamlally.com, and that's Lally.
Well, hey, everybody, this is Attilio. I was at Krispy Kreme. The light was on, so you knew they were hot and ready. I was doing my impersonation of Homer Simpson in the Krispy Kreme lobby area. I was drooling all over myself, waiting for them Krispy Kremes to come off the conveyor belt. And in the middle of my donut fantasy, this lady tapped me on the shoulder, started asking me a bunch of tax and legal questions, and I said, those are great questions. Highly recommend you seek the appropriate licensed professional. And then I said, but Mom, what other questions do you have? So if you hear anything on the show sounds like legal advice, Adrienne, who should they run that by?
They should run that by the attorneys with hearts, Cain and Herren, right here in Wailuku.
And if you hear anything that sounds like legal advice, hey, run it past your neighborhood Spider-Man or CPA or tax professional. Speaking of tax professionals,
we need a tax professional
to
recommend, so give us a call.
Yeah, if you're looking to become one of our trusted advisors for our client base, give us a call. What's that number?
633-8633.
We'd be happy to promote your business.
So I have a question about your Krispy Kreme fantasy.
Yep.
So what is your favorite, what's your mom's favorite donut, and what's yours?
We both like just the plain old glazed ones.
Okay.
No, I don't know if she likes it, but it's such a favorite that I just, if people are going to hang with me or have given birth to me, that needs to be their favorite donut also.
So you would disown your mom if she didn't like?
No, she likes the glazed donuts.
That's good to know. All right, so we're going to start our show with some quotes.
Mm-hmm.
This first one's from John F. Kennedy. When written in Chinese, the word crisis is composed of two characters. One represents danger, and the other represents opportunity.
Yeah, so let me pronounce crisis in Chinese. Crisis! No, that was more like with a Chinese accent.
Yeah, I don't think that's how you say it in Chinese.
We gotta ask Jenny.
Yes, we'll get the translation for the next time we give this quote.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this other quote is from Mandy Hale, and I think this is a combination of a bunch of quotes. I thought it was pretty cool, so I'm going to read it. You'll learn as you get older that rules are made to be broken. Be bold enough to live life on your terms and never ever apologize for it. Go against the grain, refuse to conform, take the road less traveled instead of the well-beaten path. Laugh in the face of adversity and leap before you luck. Dance as though everybody is watching. March to the beat of your own drummer and stubbornly refuse to fit in.
Yeah, I think that is a quote mashup.
But it's a lot of great quotes all mashed up together.
So, are we going to do the Mortgage Minute with Jenny Madsen?
We will at our first break.
Okay.
But do you want to talk about this success story and pricing?
Yes. All right. So, folks, here we go. Here's the hard-bitten real estate truth for today. The number one reason why a home will sell or will not sell is
the price.
It's not, you know what? That's it. If you know that, then you will be successful. But I mean, it's a major component. There are other things that come into play, the condition of your home,
the location,
its location, and this is where the realtors come in, the promotion.
That's right.
So if you're listening to the show, I think first question you should ask any realtor that you're interviewing is, do they have a real estate show?
Totally loaded question.
Have they written a book called the Maui Real Estate Guide?
Another loaded
question. Do they have a huge marketing budget?
Well, that's not so much of a loaded question. But
could be. Majority of our industry is spending about $250 a month on marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What are we spending?
About 16,000.
I demand to see a breakdown of where is all this money being spent on. Whose idea was
it?
that?
It actually
Oh,
might
it was
be
ours.
more, but I don't want to share that breakdown
Yeah.
with you.
Anyway.
You might have nightmares.
We guarantee to get more eyeballs on your property than the average realtor. We'll put it in writing.
That's right.
All right.
All right, so you want to talk about some other guarantees or maybe our Barbara Corcoran endorsements?
Barbara Corcoran endorsement, is it in there?
It is.
You got to get to it quickly.
All right.
So, hey, Adrienne, did you know we have a new commercial?
You mean the one with Barbara Corcoran?
Hey, you got to read
Tank?
that. Read it faster so they don't
Okay,
even know
so
we're
sorry.
reading a script.
Okay.
You know, but I just told them we are. That's the one. So tell our listeners how we met Barbara.
Well, we were in Dallas a few months ago, and Barbara came out to speak at the event that we were at.
Mm-hmm.
And she only takes a handful of speaking events a year. And she was already booked for the year, but at the last minute, she did agree to take one more.
Yeah.
And that's where we met her.
Hey, folks, so we're at this event. She's going to go speak in the main room. We got the chance to meet her in a little offshoot room and actually interact with her.
Mm-hmm. And she's awesome.
Yeah.
So that meeting sparked a new partnership, which led to her endorsing us during the Shark Tank show.
All right. So watch Barbara talking about us during one of the breaks.
A little bit about Barbara.
Barbara has ponied up her own money, invested in, I think, like 22 different businesses. She is awesome.
Yep, she's got a new book called Shark Tales, which takes you behind the scenes of her life and business and Shark Tank.
You know when you pause when you're reading something, then they know you're reading something.
Well, you already told them I was reading anyway.
Just ad lib.
So it doesn't matter. Well, I'm having to read it upside down.
Anyway, so check out our Facebook page. You're going to see the commercial there. Actually, go to teamlally.com. If you scroll down a little bit, you can see the 30-second
It's
spot.
right there on the homepage.
Super cool.
And we will be having some new spots that'll be airing soon with some different messages.
All right, so give our number a call if you want to know why does Barbara Corcoran of Shark Tank love Team Lally. Give us a call.
That's 633-8633.
I think it's time for an intro.
Okay, I think it's time for the Maui Mortgage Minute.
Oh, is it?
It's that time
Let's
of the show.
go with that then.
All right.
Welcome to the Maui Mortgage Minute, brought to you by Ginny Madsen of the Maui Mortgage Team.
Aloha! A question that we often get is, how is it possible that you have such great mortgage products and rates? It's important to us to offer our clients the very best. And that's why we joined Pacific Home Loans, one of the top mortgage companies in Hawaii. Pacific Home Loans sends hundreds of millions of dollars in mortgage business to Hawaii's largest banks and trust companies every year. With this volume, we get access to hundreds of mortgage products and the lowest rates. Backed by the best mortgage company in Hawaii, supported by the top loan processors and underwriting team, we make getting a mortgage easy. We look forward to serving you.
Visit MauiMortgageTeam.com for all of your mortgage needs. Again, that's www.MauiMortgageTeam.com. NMLS 1078414.
Now, you may have thought to own a home here on Maui, you must be made of gold.
We are happy to say this is not the case.
Oh yeah, Attilio? Why don't I have to be made of gold to own a home here on Maui?
Well, it's because of the Maui Mortgage Team.
Really? Tell me more. You've got my attention.
Well, Jenny Madsen, host of the acclaimed Maui Mortgage Minute, educates people every day about the ins and outs of home financing.
Check out their website, MauiMortgageTeam.com, for mortgage calculators, streaming videos, online homebuyer guides, secure file transfer technology, and more.
Sounds like the Maui Mortgage Team is the highest tech mortgage group on the island.
Hey, you know that Maui can be expensive. The Maui Mortgage Team love helping people save money and make their dreams of home ownership come true.
There are never any hidden fees or surprises, and they will always advise you on getting the best deal.
Whether you're at the grocery store, getting gas, or booking a trip, you shop around for the best deal. We believe getting a mortgage should be no different.
So check out the MauiMortgageTeam.com or call them at 270-2775.
Hawaii NMLS ID number 1032554.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corcoran. To sell your home on time for the most money, you need a sharp agent with a marketing strategy that creates the most demand. Bottom line, you need a partner willing to put their own money on the line for you.
In Hawaii, I would hire Adrienne Lally and Attilio Leonardi. Their marketing strategy is so effective that if your home doesn't sell on terms you agree to, Team Lally will buy it.
Partner with the team I trust. Go online or call and get your home sold.
When you're trying to find the best of the best, don't settle for an agent that's just like the rest. Pick a team that knows just what to do. From buying or selling, we work hard for you. Team Lally, the best real estate in the islands. 227-2703.
You know, there's so many fine details in dealing with real estate. I really don't think you want to do it on your own. And I have a unique proposition for you. It's from Adrienne Lally and Attilio Leonardi of Team Lally. What they do is offer no obligation guarantee. If they haven't done their job, you're free to get out of the contract. But don't worry, you won't want to, because Adrienne and Attilio are going to sit down with you, establish a price and deadline to sell your home. If that deadline passes and your home isn't sold, they'll buy your home. Check out the success story. Team Lally listed the home, and 1 week before the open house, they had 2 full price offers. And this is just with the pictures and the video of the home. After the open, they had a total of 4 offers in hand. Adrienne and her team acted quickly. So call the only agents willing to earn your business every single day. That's Attilio Leonardi, Adrienne Lally, and her team. And that phone number is 633-8633. That's 633-8633. And you can also find them online at guaranteedsale.com.
Welcome back, and thanks for listening to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or We'll Buy It. I'm Adrienne.
And I'm Attilio.
And today we're going to be talking about foreclosures.
Foreclosure, no way.
Yes. So we have David Cain from Cain and Herren. And they're right here in Wailuku, the largest firm on Maui.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And they have over 50 years of collective legal experience. The attorneys at Cain and Herren specialize in bankruptcy, divorce, criminal defense, and loan modification. So David's firm services all islands, and they offer free consultations for bankruptcy and divorce.
Hi, guys.
Hello. Welcome to the show, David.
Thank you very much.
So we have a few questions for you, but first, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yes.
Well, I'm originally from Ohio, where they're getting the really nice weather right now.
Lots of snow.
Lots of snow there, yes. In fact, I talked to my dad yesterday, and it was 12 degrees. You know, and I'm like, it doesn't get that cold in my freezer.
That's pretty darn cold.
That's cold. But anyway, yeah, so I'm originally from Ohio, went to Ohio State, and then on to Boston to go to law school. I've been practicing law, coming up on 30 years.
Oh, wow.
I know. It's frightening. But we, you know, Cain and Herren, we've been helping people for, almost 15 years now.
Oh, wow.
So we're growing. We're the fastest growing law firm in the state of Hawaii. We've won some awards from Pacific Business News, and so we're real pleased with the service that we can give people. We have 8 attorneys now that can help, and we do a lot of different things, and we do a lot of foreclosure work too.
Yeah.
Both defense and as commissioners.
Now, we got an interesting factoid about you. You go by the moniker of Old Hickory.
Yeah, about
once in a while.
5 years ago, Johnny invited me. My friend Johnny, he's a local disc jockey, invited me to be on the radio. And so, yes, that was my nickname. He has to. Everybody has to have a radio nickname.
Radio name.
And how did he come up with this name?
Well, it came about when my hair was a little longer. It curls, and you can, the color for everybody out there, the color is silver.
Yes.
And if you take out a $20 bill and look at Andrew Jackson, it really does look like me, and strangely, and especially when the hair grows long, and it's like, there it is, Old Hickory.
All right, so David Cain for $200. No, playing David Cain Jeopardy.
No need to plan for next Halloween.
That's it.
You have it.
Put up a cardboard with $20 on each side, and my head in the
fellow
middle.
citizens.
All right, so your firm, it specializes, one of the areas that you guys specialize in is foreclosure. Can you tell us and our listeners what exactly is a foreclosure?
Sure. When you purchase a piece of property that you don't pay cash for, then you can go to a bank and try to get a loan. And part of that process is you sign what's called a promissory note, and you also sign what's called a mortgage. Now, it's kind of funny. The mortgage actually secures the property and allows the person that has the note, the promissory note, to come forward and do something we call foreclose, which is an involuntary procedure. You know, you're not volunteering to be foreclosed on. It's an involuntary procedure where they're trying to take the property back. And actually, it's kind of funny, guys, because mortgage in Latin means deadly paper.
Deadly paper.
So what the foreclosing party is trying to do is essentially take that property back because the person has missed payments pursuant to the note. So there are certain laws and rules they have to abide by in order to foreclose on a piece of property. One is they have to give a certain amount of notice. They have to do something called acceleration, which is saying that, hey, okay, now we can collect on the whole note.
Yes.
You know, like now you owe us $300,000 plus interest and attorney's fees.
We'll be swinging by later on this afternoon. It'd be great if you could have it all in unmarked $50 bills.
Or $20 bills.
Yes.
Well, actually, you guys think that's funny, but that does from time to time happen, where the party that's being foreclosed on will get the cash and not actually bring it in $20 bills, but will pay the mortgage that way. And you actually, by law, you have a right to be able to do that up to a certain point in the court proceedings. You have a ability to actually defend a foreclosure suit, which we do sometimes. You have a right to perhaps file bankruptcy and try to get back on track through maybe what we call a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, making up back payments. You also have a right to come in and pay the mortgage.
And just make up the difference.
Right.
Right?
Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. Actually, you have a right to, up through the foreclosure proceeding, to just pay the back payments plus attorney's fees and interest and get back on track without even filing bankruptcy or anything like that. So that happens occasionally as well. So we sometimes we'll facilitate a short sale. Essentially, what we try to do is we try to help the party that's being foreclosed on by figuring out what the best method is going to be in the long run.
Yeah.
So if they don't have the extra money to make up the difference, they can either file bankruptcy or
sometimes
sue the bank.
Yeah, sometimes it's bankruptcy. Sometimes we will put banks. We will make them jump through the hoops that they have to jump through. And I mean, this is a person's right, though. It's a person's right to be able to come in and say, hey, if you're going to file this lawsuit against me, then you have to prove it.
Sure.
And they have to follow certain rules.
And they have to follow certain rules. That's correct. And so we sometimes will facilitate that as well. But, it's just talking to your client, finding out what they want to do, what resources they may have, if any. And sometimes it's a sad situation. We have many times where we just had a client who lost her husband, and she was diagnosed with cancer a month after losing her husband. Now, fortunately, in that case, there were some life insurance proceeds, which we were able to take and parlay with the bank and get her back on target. But, these aren't necessarily just people blatantly not wanting to pay.
Yes.
And it's very rarely that situation.
Just mainly like they have a hardship that's happened and
it's almost always some type of hardship. A lot of times it's marital, divorce or whatever. A lot of times it's medical. Sometimes it's job related. Sometimes, hey, I was demoted from, manager down to whatever. Now I can't afford to make my car payment, my house payment, all that type of stuff.
So you give them some more time, educate them. I think that's important because sometimes we hear clients and they'll be like, oh, I just got the notice of default from the bank. We're moving. And they'll make that mistake of moving when they should kind of just stay put.
Well, and that's it exactly. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people don't know their rights. I mean, and actually, we have fostered even cash for key deals, and done very well by our clients for that. Yeah. A lot of times, in order just to get possession. Okay, cash for keys. Let's tell people what that means. It's basically where you're going to the bank and saying, okay, I'm going to move out at a certain time.
Yes.
But for that, I want you to pay me some money.
Yeah.
And I mean, some banks will and deal, with you. Or will deal in that fashion. Sometimes we do that. I had a very good friend of mine who we did a cash for keys for, and he wound up getting about $6,000 to move out, plus the bank forgave the note. In other words, said, we're not going to come and collect this.
Yeah.
So, and we got that in writing, and so actually that person didn't even need to go bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sometimes we do it in conjunction with a bankruptcy.
Sure.
To relieve that.
And we've even seen banks that will
in writing. We've seen letters
up to
Citibank.
30 to 40.
Citibank or Chase.
I think it was $30,000 on a $200,000 mortgage. Our
they were
client
willing to pay $30,000.
Now, one thing though, guys, and this is important, is that has tax consequences involved.
Yeah.
Any type of debt relief, mostly. Absent some things, I'm not going to give tax advice, but absent some certain factors, then that is going to trigger a tax consequence on whatever the debt relief is. So that's another consideration that, we'll talk to our clients about is, hey, if you do this, then you're going to have a huge tax consequence unless you can prove to the IRS certain things that you have done that does not trigger that, and that's difficult to do.
So basically, like if you're insolvent, then they're not going to.
Insolvency is one of them. That's yay. That's very good. You're exactly correct. Insolvency is one of those factors. Sometimes hard to even prove insolvency. I had a client one time that was insolvent, but then went through bankruptcy, kept the property. This was actually before we represented them. Came to us afterwards because the IRS was trying to collect on a deficiency payment, and because he had rented out those properties, he was deemed through audit not to be insolvent. So, it's tricky. You got to be really, really careful about these type of situations. So we actually got him after all that procedure had been done, and we put him into what we call a Chapter 13 tax repayment plan, which we repay it actually through the bankruptcy court. We repaid that tax. So, but it was nasty, It really was nasty.
Yeah, when people think of, getting that debt relief either through cash for keys or, them forgiving you on the difference and not pursuing you for the difference. In the layman's term, again, not providing tax advice, but what we've seen anecdotally through the letters and people talking to us after they met with their tax accountant, if you owe $500,000 on the home and it gets foreclosed on and the bank sells it for $400,000, there's a $100,000 difference. They're going to issue some form of 1099.
That's exactly correct.
And you're going to have to treat it as part of your adjusted gross income. And so, again, not tax advice, but that's our understanding.
Yeah,
you didn't get any money.
That's exactly correct, Attilio. What they will issue usually is a 1099-C, which stands for cancellation of debt. In both foreclosure procedures and non-foreclosure procedures, you then have to, as a taxpayer, and again, I'm not giving tax advice, but as a taxpayer, then you have to essentially file certain forms to say, no, this 1099 doesn't apply to me because of insolvency or the yada, yada, yada.
No, they used to have the Mortgage Debt Forgiveness Act, and I think that it expired.
Well, it expired, but they renewed it.
Okay.
So it is still valid, but that's something you're absolutely right, and this is essentially what we're talking about is that act. Insolvency or foreclosure, certain foreclosures, then you can remove that. But again, there are certain consequences and criteria that you have to meet in order for that to happen.
Now, some people can be in a situation where, and we're when you're missing payments, and for the real estate industry, we define you as a distressed homeowner. Not like you could be pulling your hair out and freaking out in addition to that from a psychological standpoint, but from a financial standpoint of not being current, on your mortgage obligation for the home. As realtors, we have to disclose. We're required to disclose that you're a distressed seller, but you can be distressed but have equity. So not everybody has to do a short sale where they owe more than the home's worth. So what are some key things that you would advise a client that's in that situation? Maybe they only owe $500,000 on the property, but it's worth $1 million, but they're like 2 years behind on mortgage payments.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's a tough situation. You know, sometimes, believe it or not, it's the proper thing to maybe go into bankruptcy, even a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, because what happens is that's called a liquidation.
Yep.
The trustee will come in and will essentially pay your bills, but will also give you excess money that over and above what all your bills have been. So if there's a lot of equity, then that could make a lot of sense doing that, believe it or not. And it doesn't have it probably would qualify for a tax break as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, that could be, I mean, they're just different options. What actually, the first thing we tell people, it's like, oh my God, sell the house immediately. You know, call Team Lally right now, sell this thing.
Yeah.
But sometimes they can't, and sometimes you know, they don't want to give up all their equity either. So boy, that's a great question. It's just there's a lot of different answers.
Yeah. I mean, typically when we're consulting with people, I like the word consultant. And I tell people we're not really realtors or realtor salespeople. We're realtor consultants. You know, I had a conversation with a lady today. She's like, well, we don't know if we really want to sell. We gave her advice. And she's going to, all this stuff. They've beautiful home, but they've got 30 years of accumulated things in there. And they're like, well, we don't want to start putting stuff in storage if the numbers don't work. And she's like, you know, we don't want to start doing those things, so advise us on what the numbers will be. And she said, this is what she said today, this is an hour ago, I don't want to rain on your parade that we may not want to sell the home. And I said, hold off, Mrs. Fernandez. I changed her. She's Portuguese, but I changed it to a different Portuguese to protect the innocent Portuguese people out there. But anyway, Mrs. Fernandez says, don't worry about us realtors. We're going to be fine. We may consult with you, and we're having a conversation with you tomorrow, and we may tell you, don't sell your home. We've told people that. Don't sell your home.
It doesn't always make sense.
It doesn't always make sense. And like you guys said at the beginning of the show, numbers, I mean, that's, if we're not getting a number that the client is satisfied with, then, you know, it's not going to, they're not going to accept anyway, or they're not going to accept what you're telling them. So absolutely, I think you guys are correct. You've got to listen to your client. That's the bottom line.
And what are their objectives?
That's right. We want to be
help them.
We want to be their advisors.
Trusted advisors.
Trusted advisors for life.
Yeah.
All right. So David, there's a couple of different types of foreclosure. Could you touch on that?
Sure. There's, well, anymore, there's only one here in Hawaii, and I'll explain that in a second. But we have what's called judicial and non-judicial.
Yes.
Non-judicial is more where you have to jump through, the creditor has to jump through certain hoops as far as publication and notice, and has what's called a right of sale, which they can come in afterwards. Now, a few years ago, our state legislature didn't really like the way that law was being implemented by the creditors.
Yes.
So they changed the foreclosure rules to allow the debtor, the person who's being foreclosed on potentially in a non-judicial, to like flip it to a judicial, or to have certain rights as far as mediation and things like that. And that didn't sit very well with the creditors. So essentially, 99% of all foreclosures now going on in Hawaii are judicial. Okay, judicial meaning that you file a complaint, you the creditor who's trying to foreclose, files a complaint with the court, and essentially the judge then comes in and makes certain rulings, like, you know, for example, they may make a judgment that there is an interlocutory right of foreclosure or decree of foreclosure at that point, where the creditor can take possession of the property and things like that. Now, again, though, there are rights, because you're in front of a judge and you're in the judicial system now. A complaint has been filed against you. So my suggestion is know those rights. At least come to us, because most of the time, even in these types of situations, we're going to give you a free initial consultation just to get you to, hey, here's what we can do, here's these rights. You know, there's a lot of options that people have, and we want our clients, or people of Maui, people of all the state of Hawaii, to know these options.
Now, hey, listeners, if you're just tuning in, this is the Team Lally Real Estate Show. We have David Cain with the attorneys with Hart, Cain and Herren. Their phone number 242-9350. That's 242-9350. You can check them out on the internet. That's cainandherren.com. Herren is how you spell Herren. And we're talking about
foreclosures.
Foreclosure. And Cain is spelled like Raising Cain?
That's at CAIN.
All right. So did you want to take a quick break, or want to keep going with the foreclosure talk?
Let's keep going, because there was a question I was going to ask, but I had to do this hey, in case you just tuned in.
We don't want our listeners to be confused.
And I forgot what my question was. So do you have another question? Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, how long does this process typically take?
Yeah.
It could, when a judicial complaint is filed, typically the respondent, the defendant, has 20 days to answer. Now, if no answer is filed within that first 20 days, then the case is kind of fast-tracked, and the system moves fairly quickly. Could within 2 months, 2 to 3 months, get a decree of foreclosure, believe it or not, fast.
David, hold right there, because now I remember the question.
Okay.
Clients are always asking this. Before power of sale, get the notices on the door, all of that. Now they're getting served that piece of paper, and they're having to respond. Is that what you were just talking about?
You bet. That's exactly right.
The clients are always asking, what do I do? Because they have, 21 days or?
20 days.
20 days. So go forward again with that. Now, what happens if they...
If they do nothing, then the case, like I said, is fast-tracked through the system. It's essentially the other side, the attorneys on the other side, will file paperwork to default the defendant and to move it into a fast-track foreclosure, which could be only a few months. If the complaint is answered, in other words, you go to an attorney and you tell your attorney to answer the complaint, then the case usually takes a long while.
Okay.
Because you have certain rights along the way, you have certain rights of discovery, rights to motions to dismiss, rights to defend essentially what you're doing, and it could take up to 8 months to a year or more at that point. So but doing that may not be for everyone as well.
Sure.
I mean, it could be just a matter of contacting the creditor and contacting the bank and making some type of deal.
Yes.
And in at least half the cases, that's what we'll do.
Sure.
And, part of the deal may be a cash for keys. Part of the deal may be a reduction of the debt. Part of the deal may be a short sale. Part of the deal could be a bankruptcy. It could be, though, we do have sometimes where clients want to answer. They want to stay as long as they can. Kicking and screaming, they're going to take me out of my house. So if that's your goal, if that's our client's goal, then we're going to see it done, within the limits of the law. We're not going to file false paperwork or anything like that, but we are going to protect our clients' rights.
Sure. In our experience, too, and we found a lot of people look on TV and they think, hey, sheriff's going to be showing up. They're going to be dragging me out of the place. They're going to be throwing all my stuff in boxes and putting it on the curb outside the property line. In the years we've been doing this, we've probably worked with, 375 clients facing foreclosure. We've never, ever seen somebody get dragged kicking and screaming. The bank literally, it's that old proverb of, they'd rather go through the situation with honey than vinegar.
Yeah, and
cash for keys.
Yep, and it's rare to see that. Now, in Hawaii, when a foreclosure case is initiated, a foreclosure commissioner is appointed, and that's a court-appointed official. And we do that type of work as well. We are foreclosure commissioners at our law firm. It's a court-appointed official that looks and their job is like a trustee. It's to go and secure the property, to lock it up if there's no one there, and to secure it. If there is someone there, to figure out, are you paying rent? Where's it going to try to collect it? And sometimes even if they're not paying a rent or mortgage at the time, to, say, okay, well, here's the time frame. We can, let's be ready to move within the next 3 months. It's a very kind of nice thing to have this third-party commissioner involved.
Yeah.
They don't work for the foreclosing attorney. They actually work for the court. And eventually, that commissioner's job is going to be to title the property over from the court over to the bank or whoever's foreclosing. So it's definitely a necessary part of the system. And it's funny because as a commissioner, I had to just recently in a case do a lot of research as to why commissioners are appointed and things like that, and do up a brief for the court for it.
Okay.
And I learned a lot.
Yes.
but it's a necessary process, and a lot of times clients will come to us and we'll call the commissioners and say, okay, here's the deal. My client understands they have to move, but they need 90 days, they need 120 days, whatever. And a lot of times the commissioners will agree to that and allow them the extra time.
Mm-hmm.
So by working with you, you may be able to get them additional time in the home or like a cash for keys kind of deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
They have a moving allowance.
Yes, exactly.
So it's just like that show, The Commish. No, it's not some bald guy with a badge that's going to show up at your door. They're called the commissioner. And we've dialogued with them and worked with them before. Some other situations we come into, the banks will do, they usually will hire a third-party company called a property preservation. And it's maybe a locksmith or somebody that will go and do a vacancy check, because even though they're not the titled owners of the property, they want to make sure the thing isn't being trashed and the borrower didn't leave the water on and pour some cement down the drain lines on the way out.
Well, now the plaintiff, the bank, has to be careful with what they do, because they can't interfere with the commissioner. And we've had, as commissioners, we've had some battles with plaintiffs about, what not kind of overstepping, not being too zealous, the commissioner's job is to secure that property.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to go out and essentially hire, and what we like to do is try to work with the plaintiff as commissioner, and defendant. We want to be that intermediary as a commissioner to help both sides get through this. But they can't, plaintiff can't take too much action. Like if they hire, a company to change someone out, then that's going to be a violation of the court order. So they have to be careful of doing that. And I've seen that too.
We've seen it, and I'll tell you our firsthand experience. It's like the scene from Deliverance with the dueling banjos. We're over there with our lockbox. We got a key in it. Big old sign in the front yard. There's a realtor. Plaintiffs hire a locksmith. They don't even call the realtors, nothing. How we find out that the locks have been changed? The next realtor doing a showing says, your key doesn't work in this lock. And we're like, huh? You got it out of the lockbox. Yeah, and it doesn't work. Bingo, we already know that the bank changed the locks.
Yep.
And then the commissioner will come in and he's like, I need to get the key. Well, at least they communicate. The commissioners will communicate with the realtor.
Well, yeah, and that's, pursuant, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's what we want to do as a commissioner. And pursuant to court order, we have certain marching orders from the court as a commissioner, and we can't really go above those.
Yeah.
We're not this party that can take all this power. We're, like I said, we're like a trustee, and what the court order says is what we do.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I think a lot of clients will ask us, like maybe their grandmother's picture is inside the home and the locks got changed, and they're like, "Why? How do I get in there?" I'm like, "It's still your home. We'll communicate and get a key, or we'll get you into the home, but don't want to feel, you're still the titled owner."
You know what? That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true. Unless, like, sometimes the commissioner will go get an order to dispossess or eject,
Gotcha.
but that rarely happens. But you're absolutely right. I mean, what we tell people as well is, look, you have up to the point that the judge rules that this is done and the commissioner titles over property to someone else, you have a right of redemption up to that day. You could go the day before that court hearing and pay the back fees, pay the commissioner fees, pay the attorney's fees, and pay what's owed to the bank up to that point. And guess what? You're back the next day.
Yeah.
That's state law.
Now, that right of redemption, I want to mention to our listeners, somebody will go out there and Google it. Oh, right of redemption, you got 1 year. Well, that's not in Hawaii, right? I mean,
you're right. It's absolutely, you've got to, everyone's state specific here.
Yeah.
That's including foreclosure law is state specific.
Yeah. So no more like, well, I'll just go get our house back 1 year later and we'll save up our money and my rich uncle will bail us out.
Well, and it's different for tax redemption, as you guys know. If it's not paying real estate, if it's not paying county tax or something like that, then they do have a right to go in maybe up to a year later. No advice here, but they have different rights than if it's being foreclosed on.
Question.
Oh, I was gonna say, what are the biggest myths that you hear about foreclosure, David?
I think one of the biggest ones is that someone has to get off the property right away. Like a sheriff's going to come out within a week and put you in handcuffs and throw you into debtor's prison.
Yeah,
that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
just plain and simple. And actually, I love the Hawaii State Constitution. It's the coolest document. Did you guys know that in our Hawaii State Constitution it says that no one can go to jail for owing a debt?
Oh.
Isn't that interesting?
So there's no bank jail.
There's no bank jail.
No bank jail, no debtor's
Even
jail.
though they would love to have one, right? Debtor's prison. But no, in our state constitution, it says that. So I always love that. I always bring that up to, creditors and say, our state constitution doesn't allow you to send people to jail anymore.
Yeah.
Like debtor's prison. But, there's a lot of myths out there. I think another myth is, there's nothing I can do once they file a foreclosure.
Yeah.
And there's actually a lot of things that can still be done. And honestly, I hate to say this, but if you go to loan without an attorney, in my humble opinion, like a cash or keys, I don't think you're going to do very well.
Yeah.
Because when they talk to us, they know all I have to do is go in, remove the default, file an answer, and I'm going to make that sucker last another year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's going to cost them a lot more
money.
money.
And it's going to cost them in the end a lot more money. And, and look, in my humble opinion as an attorney, that is not wrong.
Yeah.
That is preserving your client's rights.
Sure.
And getting a better deal for them, which is what we're about.
So either you can get the cash for keys or they can stay in the home longer.
Right.
It's the bank's choice.
Right.
What would they like?
Right.
Well, hey, if you're just tuning in again, this is the Team Lally Real Estate Show. We've got David Cain from Cain and Herren, the attorneys with heart. We're speaking to you listeners out there that might be facing foreclosure. Give them a call, 242-9350. Check out their website, cainandherren.com. And what's next?
It's time for a break, so don't go too far. When we come back, we're going to have our Maui Sada on the street.
Yes.
Talking about some coming soon properties.
Welcome to the Maui Mortgage Minute, brought to you by Ginny Madsen of the Maui Mortgage Team. Online at mauimortgageteam.com.
Most of us got our first bank account when we were 8 years old. And as a loyal customer, we assume they will give us the best deal when we need a mortgage. But when it comes to getting a mortgage, don't go to your bank. Did you know that your bank only offers a small selection of their own mortgage products, and there's often a better deal available somewhere else? At the Maui Mortgage Team, we are different. We go shopping for your mortgage amongst many banks. We get them competing for your business, so you get the best deal. So remember, don't go to your bank. Finding the right home and mortgage is significant to your financial success and happiness. We can help.
Visit mauimortgageteam.com for all of your mortgage needs. Again, that's www.mauimortgageteam.com. NMLS 1078414. Member of Pacific Home Loans.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corcoran. To sell your home on time for the most money, you need a sharp agent with a marketing strategy that creates the most demand. Bottom line, you need a partner willing to put their own money on the line for you.
In Hawaii, I would hire Adrienne Lally and Attilio Leonardi. Their marketing strategy is so effective that if your home doesn't sell on terms you agree to, Team Lally will buy it.
Partner with the team I trust. Go online or call and get your home sold.
When you're trying to find the best of the best, don't settle for an agent that's just like the rest. Pick a team that knows just what to do. From buying or selling, we work hard for you. Team Lally, the best real estate in the islands. 227-2703.
we all know the fine details of real estate can get pretty intimidating, and I have a unique proposition for you. It's from Adrienne Lally and Attilio Leonardi of Team Lally. What they do is offer a no-obligation guarantee. If they haven't done their job, you're free to get out of the contract. But don't worry, you won't want to, because Adrienne and Attilio will sit down with you, establish a price and deadline to sell your home. If that deadline passes and your home isn't sold, they'll buy your home. Check out the success story. To avoid paying on a vacant property, Justin needed to sell his home fast and for top dollar, and he went with Team Lally. They immediately went to work using their amazing marketing system and got the house sold in only 2 weeks for $419,000, which was $3,000 over the appraised price. So call the only agents willing to earn your business every single day. Adrienne Lally, Attilio Leonardi, and their team. And that phone number is 633-8633. Again, at 633-8633. And you can also find them online at guaranteedsale.com.
Open Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style.
Welcome back. This is Adrienne.
And this is Attilio.
And you're listening to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or We'll Buy It. If you have any questions, you can call us at 633-8633. That's 633-8633. Or on the web at teamlally.com.
All right. So do we have Brandon Force on the line?
Yes, you do.
All right. Brandon is our Maui Sada on the street. And Adrienne, what is Brandon going to be talking about today?
Let's talk about some coming soon listings. I know that we have some that are going to be going live this week.
Absolutely. So I think the one you're most likely thinking about is going to be up in Pukalani. In fact, from Foodland, that little shopping center up there, it's probably less than 2 minutes directly from that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be it's 3-bedroom, but there's actually a whole other room which doesn't have the closet. So more or less 4-bedroom, 2-bath house. And it's got full, the owners put quite a lot of money into it at the time. And their full PV or photovoltaic system on it. And their electric bill right now is $18 a month.
$18. That's amazing. Most people spend $18 just driving down the street to Foodland.
Absolutely.
And that's their electric bill for the whole month. And you know what? I know they added the in there. They've got a pretty cool pool room with a little awesome pool table in it. And they've got the split AC, but they got the ceiling mount version where it looks like central in that pool room. And then I know they have the big other split units, wall units in the other rooms. So nice additions there. And they're not that old.
And it's all, the home is all one level.
All one level. Well, it drops a little bit at the
the main living space,
home,
all the bedrooms and the kitchen and everything. All
the lot is level,
yes,
which is unusual. It's a huge level lot. What else, Brandon, about this home?
It has a nice wraparound yard too. So I mean, it wouldn't take very much. If you have animals, dogs, cats, anything like that, they're going to feel right at home with the grassy areas. And looking out the back door, you can kind of look down. You can't completely see the ocean, but you can see kind of the pretty views of Pukalani. And ultimately, they have a garage that's kind of right next to the house, but it's stepped up a bit. So if you had anything that needed a little extra clearance, maybe you jacked your vehicle up a couple inches, or you want a boat, that's definitely a good place for to park under there, easily under there, or even motorhome.
Yeah, so a high carport, so boat for the fishing boat. For the what is that? If you're going to have one of those lifted trucks that says Maui built in the back with a bumper sticker on the back,
this house is for you.
This carport will fit that truck.
And what is this going to come on the market at? What's the price point, Brandon?
It's going to come on the market for $575,000.
For up in that area, what's neat about that area, you've got the new shopping center with the Foodland and everything, but there's the community center. Now that's a community center, right? So there's like no maintenance.
Tennis courts.
Yeah, no maintenance fee for that.
So you have free use of this community center.
You can walk to it. Kids can walk to school. There's a golf course real nearby. I mean, totally nice neighborhood. We talked to the owners about the neighbors. The neighbors are super nice. I mean, some of the neighbors just live there part-time, so they're quiet, especially when they're not there. And just longtime residents in the neighborhood. So, folks, check it out. Give Brandon a call. These people have lived in this home for, what, 30 years? 30 years. 30 years. This is very rare that this home would come on the market.
All right. So Brandon, we have another listing that is coming back on the market with, I think it's coming with a new price. And I think this morning we were talking about it, Lepo Place.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about that one now.
Absolutely. So, like I said, as you mentioned, it will come on the market at $795,000. So, ultimately, it has just over 2 acres.
Mm-hmm.
And the nice thing about this is, because there's several different structures on the land, the elevation that kind of slopes, it actually kind of hides the different structures from the main structure. So, if you're interested in having, different people rent out those different units, you're going to be totally detached from them. Everyone has their own washer, dryer, meter system. So ultimately, it's very possible for them to probably almost cover your mortgage just with the help of the different structures, bringing in extra little income for you.
How many homes are on this this lot, this 2 acre
There's a
lot?
total of 4 structures.
4 structures.
And I think that the owners were, at one time they were getting around $6,000 a month in rental, including the main home.
Yep.
And it's priced at, what did you say, $795,000?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and there's a main roadway that goes through the property. A lot of times people, if it's private, it's all going to be all dirt and muddy and all of that, but this one's concrete. I mean, they use bunker technology for this driveway. I've seen it before. All right, so that's Lepo.
That's right. So call Brandon at 633-8633 if you're interested in either one of the homes that we just talked about. Brandon, is there any other homes that are coming soon, or you want to talk about a neighborhood now?
Yeah.
Well, there's actually a couple things. One, there is one more house that's in the Maui Lani Legends area. Of course, it's a very popular area for being easy access to the whole island, as well as being in a great elementary school system for that location. And ultimately, like I said, it's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath home in Maui Lani, and it's going to be coming to the market. I'll be taking the pictures and getting it all ready to go in the next couple of days. And so if you're looking for a house that's move-in ready before the holidays, it's going to be a great opportunity.
Yeah. And tune in next week. We'll be talking, or the next time we are on the show, we'll be talking about a Front Street listing. This one, I think, is going to be a great opportunity because it's very rare that those properties come up for sale. And this one, I think it's a 3-level home. It's got a pool house, pool, jacuzzi.
5,000 square feet of living space.
Tremendous opportunity there.
With ocean views as well.
Yeah. All right, so we've got, about a minute or two left?
Maybe we'll talk about the deal of the day.
Deal of the day. Go, Brandon, go.
So the deal of the day is there's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath condo. It's in the very desirable area of Kapili. It's currently priced at $159,000.
No way.
Yep. It's had an updated kitchen, and it's ready to go. So if you're looking for a little getaway location, you don't have to break the bank. I know everyone, they come over to Hawaii and they get that sticker price shock. So maybe this is a little bit more in people's price ranges.
So you said $159,000 for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. Is this a condo or house?
It is a condo. Yep.
And what's the maintenance fee like on this one?
It's just over $400.
Not bad.
Not bad. All right. So, folks, if you're out there, tired of getting beat out on properties, Team Lally, we list somewhere between 1 to 3 homes per week. And if you want to get a hold of, find out more about our coming soon inventory and the stuff that the general public doesn't have access to, if you're a buyer, you're going to give Brandon, our Maui Sada on the street, a call. At what number?
It's
going to be 633-8633.
What was that number again, Brandon?
633-8633.
All right.
All right. Well, we're coming to the end of our show here.
Thank you, Brandon. We will be catching up with you shortly. We're going to lunch.
That's right. So thank you for listening, and thank you to our sponsors.
Denise Kehu with Hawaii Escrow and Title.
Mike Davies and Ginny Madsen of the Maui Mortgage Team.
If you want to get a hold of any of our sponsors, just go to teamlally.com.
We also want to give a big thank you to Gary, our producer here in the studio.
Chee-hoo.
And make sure to tune in next week. We'll have an awesome guest talking about something that'll change your life forever.
This is the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the guaranteed sold program.
If we can't sell your home at the agreed upon price and or time frame, we'll have it bought for cash.
Thanks and aloha!